Cowboy pretends to sleep shy Maid's forbidden. Touch leaves him breathless, the Texas Badlands stretched out like a scarred hide under the merciless sun, where mirages danced on the horizon and the wind whispered secrets of forgotten battles. I remember that brutal afternoon when I rode back from the far pastures, my spurs jingling against my boots, sweat soaking my shirt as I chased off a band of wild mustangs threatening my fences. My name's Luke Remington, and at 38, I'd hammered out a dominion from the dust 15,000 acres of rugged terrain, teeming with mustangs and longhorns that I'd broken with my own hands. The ranch house loomed like a bastion against the mesas, its weathered timber frame housing rooms filled with Comanche arrowheads collected from skirmishes, braided rawhide whips hanging on pegs, and a gun cabinet stocked with Winchesters that had saved my hide more times than I could count. But all that grit and glory, it was just a smokescreen for the emptiness clawing at my insides. 8 years ago, a vicious border feud had torn my life to shreds. My beloved Clara and our infant son slaughtered in a midnight ambush by cattle thieves while I was out scouting rustlers. I'd galloped home to blood and silence, their bodies cold under the stars. Graves now shadowed by a cluster of yucca on the bluff. The retribution was savage, tracking those killers across state lines. Showdowns in ghost towns, until the last one bled out at my feet. But victory was a bitter draught. I'd swollen the ranch with new bloodlines and iron fences, channeling fury into fortune. Yet in the lonesome nights, the void howled louder. I wasn't conquering. I was caged, a wounded beast licking old wounds. She blew in like a gentle zephyr amid the dust devils. Aria Langley, 21, and fresh from the orphanages of Oklahoma, stepping off the buckboard with a threadbare trunk and eyes like sagebrush after rain-soft green, shrouded in shyness that masked a quiet fire. Her honey-blonde hair was bound in a modest braid, her gingham dress faded from washes, speaking of a youth spent in toil and transience. I'd posted for a maid in the frontier bulletins. The vast house craved someone to wrangle the chaos while I wrangled the wilds. Mr. Remington? Her voice was a timid murmur, barely rising above the creak of the wagon wheels. I'm Aria here about the position. I pulled off my gloves, gauging her. She seemed fragile as a desert bloom, yet her posture held a subtle defiance, like she'd weathered gales before. Bunks in the annex. Nana Belay'll set you straight, she's the cook, tougher than boot leather. Work kicks off at first light. Nana Bell. It's my salty old kitchen matriarch with a shotgun under her apron and stories from the Pony Express days. Poked her head out the door. Well, don't just stand there gapping, child. Come in out of this furnace. Got stew simmerin' and a heap of scrubbin' callin' your name. Aria bobbed her head, her green gaze skimming mine for a heartbeat before falling, and trailed inside. I paused, a peculiar warmth flickering in my chest. Maybe just the promise of domestic order, or the way her presence softened the harsh lines of the land. My lead wrangler, Tex Harlan, ambled up from the corral, twirling his lasso. Sweet as pecan pie, boss. Mind she don't lasso your heart 'stead of the laundry. Patch the north fence. Tex, I grunted, but his raspy chuckle dogged my steps to the barn. The days wove into a steady cadence. Aria ghosted through the house like a specter of grace, spuffing the arrowheads to a gleam, starching shirts with precision, her efforts blooming in the scent of fresh lye and pressed linens. I barricaded myself in the den, a layer of branding irons and tally books, plotting against rustlers under the flicker of a coal oil lamp. That night's grub was brisket, smoked low and slow with mesquite, flanked by biscuits. She toted it in, on a tray, her knock faint as a moth's wing. Supper, sir. Nana says it'll mend what the sun broke today, I acknowledged with a nod, lost in manifests. But as she positioned the plate, her sight latched onto the carved wooden frame on my wall, Clara cradling our boy, their faces etched in sepia, eternal in joy. They shine with such warmth, Aria whispered, as if the words slipped free unintended. Your kin. The sorrow must echo endless. The utterance struck, gentle yet profound, unearthing dormant grief. I lifted my gaze, locking onto her verdant depths. Endless as these badlands, I rasped. The pang resurfacing, she colored deeply, dipping in a hasty curtsy and vanishing. But her tenderness resonated, a faint rift in my ironclad facade. At eve, with owls hooting in the dark, subtle noises lured me from slumber clinks of crockery, a subdued soliloquy. Stealth bore me to the kitchen threshold, where she toiled by lantern glow. Arms sudsy, wax the saddles come dawn, she confided to the void as though etching a creed. Mr. Remington's den wants for it those irons forge legends bigger than our shanty for thee. Word Twister raised it. Her timbre faltered, hands clenching the basin. No sniffling. Arya rose. This here's grace. Beats beggin' in boomtowns or dancing for drunks. The master. He hauls his hurt like a yoke. Eyes like wildfire, smolderin' with unseen blazes. Blazes. It mirrored my inferno too aptly. I withdrew undetected, her disclosures embedding like barbs. She discerned the blaze I smothered, kindling a blend of unease and intrigue. Ensuing twilights, I devised a ruse. Poster past, I'd slacken my bandana, slump in the den's rocker by the blaze, lids sealed in sham dews. The outfit bunked down, Tex yarnin' about lost gold mines by the bonfire. Nana warbled ballads over her darning. Arya would steal in, amassing leavings. She'd linger, then the forbidden touch a shawl draped softly. Her digits grazing my neck, forbidden in its intimacy. Leaving me breathless beneath the pretense. Dream deep. Tormented spirit, she'd sigh, tucking it near. Grindon won't summon the departed. I've pursued that specter post, the storm that stole Ma and the orphans scattered me. Still, you soldier on. Permit tenderness to infiltrate. She'd nurture the flames, light playing on her countenance as she eyed the frame. Fierce devotion, Mr. Remington, may calm claim you. The desolation. It's a sly viper, but spirits can reignite with a flicker. Her unveilings cascaded in the stillness sagas of tenacity. Metal sculpted from wreckage. One dusk, she set a pouch aside, poultice from prickly pear and lavender, home-brewed. For your wheels, she intoned. The outward. And the inward, solitary after, I daubed it on, the balm easing strains past the corporeal. Tex eyed the pouch come morn, smirking. Maid's mixin' elixirs. She's enchantin', boss. Don't let her slip away. Saddle the Bronx Tex, I rebuked. But his guffaw echoed. Suddenly havoc descended. Gloaming as I slumbered, uproar shattered from the stable's horse, thieves pilfering my studs. I vaulted alert, clutching my carbine veins afire. Volleys rent the gloam as I hurtled forth, hunkering behind a post. 6 phantoms skulked the stalls, bridles in grip. I discharged, the roar thundering, toppling one amid whinnies. Counterfire erupted, rounds gouging timber by my ear. I darted, blasting, hobbling another's limb. The third lunged. We tussled in manure, his stiletto nicking my shoulder afore I bashed him senseless. The fourth whirled till a pistol shot from the veranda stalled him. Arya, peace unwavering from the rack, her mien resolute. Yield, she bellowed, guarding my side as Tex and the boys swarmed. We trust them for the ranger, the ether reeking of cordite. As Nana stitched my gash, Arya's caress tarried, igniting sparks. Reckless venture, she murmured. Ditto, I countered, visions fusing, a surge awakening. The enigma burgeoned. Those pilferers weren't vagrants' guns for hire from Barrett Slade, a rapacious border baron lusting my springs. Tidings of foul play mounted. Fouled wells, sickening beasts, torched haystacks. I thundered to Slade's lair, barbs flaring to brawls, then irons. Slugs whistled. I ducked behind boulders, my 6-shooter retorting, nicking his thigh till he bolted. But traces implied a mole-who schemed from my fold. The ambivalence wrenched, bonds fraying. Zenith surged with a canyon flash flood, engineered by dynamited levees. Torrents bellowed down the gorge, menacing the homestead. I charged to rally the crew, but the deluge ensnared me, steed floundering as I grappled a ledge. Arya emerged amid the spray, astride with a rope, coiling it round me and yanking me ashore. Drenched and quaking, we embraced. her latent passions exposed in her ardent clasp. You're spared, she wept, defenses shattering, homeward. As depletion downed her ague from the chill eye, ferried her to bed, illuminations flooding. Her crepuscular murmurs, her audacity, they disclosed her core, rousing mine. The sawbones came, repose revived her. In mending, I professed at her vigil. Aria, your caress, your sentiments, they've respired life into me. Her grasp in mine, she glowed. And you've granted refuge, Luke. We pledged beneath the yucca, scorning tattle, our ardor thriving in the Badlands' testament that a forbidden touch can render one breathless, birthing undying bonds.